You are listening to an MLGA Network podcast.
Cam and Phil, I would like to start off by saying how happy I am to be here. And despite how others may act, I support the both of you completely. I think the way you guys have is beautiful, and I would never change either of you. So, for this interview, alright, first question I want to ask you guys is, how long have the two of you been together?
Well, I mean, you know this.
Years.
I mean, we met in the same place, Ryan. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, this interview's not for me, it's for your listeners, so let them know.
Right, okay.
How long have you been together?
That would make sense.
That's fair. Good point.
Let's see, what year is it, Phil?
It is 2019. I want to say going back to 2016.
I think
Wow.
so. Yeah, 15 or 16. Wait, I don't know, actually. I think 16. 16's safe.
Okay.
It was well before the mass purge.
Oh, he who will not
of,
be
you know,
named.
that.
Yeah. The honorary Shane.
Yeah, it was like months before the purge happened, so whenever that happened.
Yeah, I
So
mean...
it's been a while.
We've been together for a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's been good.
In a way, you could even say we've been a throuple for a while.
Okay, well that's beautiful, guys. Absolutely beautiful. I'm very happy for both of you.
Thank you.
So now, okay, I have some questions. First of all, Cam, when did you come out? And Phil, when did you realize you were this way? Was it before or after joining the Marines?
Come out?
Wait, you think we're gay?
He has to mean as libertarians, because you know how, statist parents act. That's what you're talking about, right? Right, Ryan?
I'm pretty sure he thinks we're gay.
With each other? Welcome to Make Liberty Great Again, the best damn Liberty podcast that you've never heard of. Phil and I will be your guides as we peer into the ridiculous reality of our society and our government. Let's get to it.
Alright, guys, so moving on to more questions. Let me ask you, Cam, this first question's for you. You have a wonderful voice, but you have very little noticeable accent. If I had to guess, I would assume that you grew up somewhere in the mid-East Coast. Where did you grow up, and where are you now?
I grew up in a little town just south of Birmingham, Alabama. The lack of twang has a lot to do with just kind of how I grew up. I liked being funny. My brother liked being funny. We liked acting. We everyone in my family wanted to be an actor at some point or another. And so there was a certain point in my life where I started doing Elvis impersonations as a little kid. And so like it was one of those things where like voice control for some reason early on became a thing for me, and I got rid of that accent real quick.
Okay.
But right now I'm hidden out somewhere in Georgia, and it's not as favorite as Alabama is favorite to me.
Were you ashamed of your accent?
I don't think I was ashamed of it. Everyone I knew who had a strong one just happened to also be dumb. And I didn't want to have that. I didn't want to have that stigma on me.
Dumb by association. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama gets a lot of crap. I mean, I can't, besides Mississippi, maybe, we get the most crap out of, anytime there's a joke about incest or bestiality or any number of things, Alabama's the first person they go after. Oh, there's incest? Oh, he must be from Alabama.
Well, I would hear your voice, and I would never think Alabama. I'll definitely tell you that.
My funny story that has nothing to do with me, my brother, when he went to college, we ended up going to the same college, and I got some of the same questions then, was he went down there, and a lot of his friends were like, wait, you're from Alabama? Oh, so do you have sex with your sister? Do you have sex with goats? And one time someone asked him that, do you have sex with goats? And he goes, oh, you mean Gretchen? Believe me, she's amazing. And I was like, that's
awful.
That's my brother.
That's really bad. Where's the funny part?
Well, we should probably cut that. That's the worst joke I've ever heard.
I'm the funny one.
Apparently. Yeah. We believe you, Cam. All right, Phil, your turn. You have a nice sounding voice, despite your obvious speech difficulties, especially with pronunciation, like crayon, obviously. Regardless of any of that, where do you come from, and where are you now?
What's crayon? Well, I come from San Diego, California. I grew up there. until I was 16. And then I moved over here to, somewhere in Arizona, location unknown. That's where I currently reside.
It's kind of funny to me how both of us are just like, we're not going to tell you what city we live in
Fair
right
enough.
now.
That's just my natural defense mechanism. I'm not trying to get any kind of weirdos showing up.
All right.
And we don't trust the internet.
I'll just say I live in an area where there's a lot of Mormons that come around and try to talk to you about stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is perfect for leading into the next question here, guys.
They're so pushy, though. Man.
The Mormons?
Yeah. Because you could just say hard no, I don't want to talk, or like no thank you. And they're like, are you sure? I mean, you want to talk? Like, it'll just take a minute. Like, have you ever thought about Church of Latter-day Saints? Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, all that stuff. They just, it's like an old sales tactic. You have to give like a soft rebuttal and then like a hard rebuttal.
Let me tell you, I'm a prankster by nature. One of my favorite pranks is using the Mormon Church against people. Because what I'll do, and I've done it to a few different people, and it's always hilarious, is you go to the Mormon website, mormon.org or whatever it is, and you can order a Book of Mormon and some missionaries to come to your house and talk to you.
Nice.
And so if I want to prank someone in a non-violent and no property damage or anything like that,
order them some Mormons.
I order them some Mormons, and it's honestly the most fun thing because I did it to my wife's grandmother, who's a staunch Catholic. And so I ordered her some Mormons, and they came to her house, and then my wife got a call, and she was like, you'll never believe what happened. You'll never believe it. Mormons came to our house again, and I'm just sitting in the back, like, giggling.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then I did it to an annoying coworker one time, and really the beauty of the situation is that you do it and it's not harmful at all, but they get so mad and they're very vocal about it, so you hear all about it and you just have to not laugh.
That sounds like a great title to the episode, Ordering Mormons.
I wonder how many people, like, if they just show up to their door, like, are you here to strip? Because, like, how random is that? You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine opening the door, hey, we're here to pray with you, someone order some Mormons? Like, that's just... Oh, that would make me so uncomfortable.
So let me ask the next question.
Okay.
Cam.
Okay.
I've heard that you're a Christian. Have you ever considered Islam?
There are a lot of ways to answer that question. Easiest is no. I mean, that's so funny because I actually got a Quran because I was like, you know what? I've read the Book of Mormon. I've looked through the Buddhist teachings and the Hindu teachings just to kind of know what's going on. And I got a Quran, and it was in the house, and I didn't read it for a while, and my wife threw it away. And I was like, Kaylee, why'd you throw away the Quran that I got? And she was like, you know what? I could just feel it didn't feel right, Cam. It needed to get out of my house. I was like, well, okay. I'll see if I can download one then.
Okay, then. Guess that works. So why do you hate Muslims? Is it because of your whorish lifestyle?
Yes. I mean, there are multiple reasons why I hate Muslims. Mostly because
9/11
when I talk to women...
Phil!
I don't know where I was going with that. Thank you for that.
That's why I chipped in. I gave you some guidance. 9/11's got to be the number one reason.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that is the correct answer. But Cam didn't give that answer, he missed his chance.
He phoned a friend.
9/11.
You used your phone a friend already.
So, next question. Let me ask you, Phil. I hear that you married a woman last year. So, why did you marry a woman instead of a man, and what do you have against gays?
Well, I married her because she's pretty cool, and I happen to like women.
Why?
Shocker, as that may be after all those years in the military. I managed to stay straight. She was pretty awesome. She's pretty great. She puts up with my shenanigans. So I figured, what does Beyonce always say? If you like it, put a ring on it.
Well, that's great, but why not a man?
Why not a man? Because you know what?
Because he never met you. in person.
Yeah, I feel like we would really hit it
that's
off.
fair,
But, I just never found the right guy, I guess.
until you met your wife. Is she the right guy?
She is. She is. She has all the good qualities of a man and none of the bad qualities.
All right. Cam,
Yes.
what is the most important thing in your life?
Oh, goodness. That's a real question.
He said thing, not things, so you can't say your children. It's one thing.
One thing?
Choose wisely, I guess.
Choose wisely.
My penis?
All right. There it is.
Okay. There we go.
It's most
So,
honest.
Phil,
At least he's honest.
what's the most important thing in your life?
Cam's penis, hands down.
Do you want to revise your answer to my first question, you guys?
Yeah, can we get a mulligan? Don't cut this though, I like it.
I don't know what that is.
It's a golf term. I think
In golf,
it means
if you,
start
If
over.
you screw up, you get an extra go.
Thanks for the sound effect.
I assumed it was a drink. Okay.
You know what? That could be a good
mulligan.
drink.
Sounds like something you drink.
Can I get a mulligan? Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Cam.
All right.
You're on the hot seat, buddy.
Well, actually, this is a question for both of you guys.
Do we have to ring
What are
in?
you...
Ding.
I mean, you could shut up so I can ask you the question.
Not likely.
This is a question for you both. What are you guys doing to address worldwide man-made climate change?
I'm farting less, to be honest with you. So less emissions.
I'll be honest, I'm a nihilist, so I'm farting more. I'd really like to speed up the process.
Well, I'm canceling him out because I don't fart at all. So I'm doing my part. I'm trying to keep things, green.
Do you plan to keep recording when you're drowning in the ocean?
Well, I mean, I figure we'll at least build a raft.
Yeah, sandbags around the property. That should do it.
Brilliant.
What are you doing?
Okay.
But I know it's not PC, but what if I said that I didn't believe that climate change had anything to do with man?
Yeah, okay, you're one of those flat earth, great big ball of fire in the sky kind of people, Ooh, there's a big burning ball of fire in the sky that makes the planet warm and sometimes and cold other times. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, you're one of those. Okay, no, I don't want to hear any of that crap.
Science denier.
One of those that thinks that I don't know. We've had ice ages in the past. Maybe this just happens.
Making that stuff up.
I think if you actually said that on air, we'd probably go to jail. So, just,
Only if Bill Nye had his way.
Oh, yeah, the not scientist.
Are we talking about climate change or the word that Cam used that you're going to have to bleep out?
Oh, no. Being science deniers, I think we can go to jail for that now.
Okay. Well.
Am I not allowed to say on my own podcast?
Well, I
No.
don't know. That caught
No.
me off guard. And I went, oh, okay. Then you said, are we allowed to say that on air? And I went, oh, wait. So,
Both.
sorry.
Can't say either.
I just got stuck on that.
We definitely can't say though.
No. That's
Why-
too far.
Why can't you say... No, you can say...
I'm going to bleep every you said.
What is that? What? All right, here's another for you both. Why did you guys start this podcast, and what do you hope to accomplish with it?
You were actually more or less a part of the original podcast in some ways, because I always talked to you about what I wanted to do with the other two in the previous iteration of this podcast. And I think we lasted all of 9 episodes. There were just certain things that led to it not happening anymore. And so after some things cleared up and there were some changes, I suddenly wanted to do it again. And so I had the genius idea of, hey, I should do this with Phil. Messaged him just one random day. And I think it's probably a Monday or Tuesday, right, Phil?
I believe so.
And then by Friday or Saturday, we recorded our first episode. And really the goal, because at first I didn't even have this on the docket, but I wanted there to be a liberty-minded news show, because there used to be a couple of liberty-minded news shows that I would listen to, but either the host was a giant cuck douchebag that I couldn't listen to anymore, or I just wasn't interested in the presentation. And so, talking to Phil, coming up with it, we thought, we can fill this niche, but at the same time, both of us are very interested in comedy and writing. And so we thought, hey, let's do this, but instead of making it a strictly super serious news show, let's play this up like it's like a night show.
Yeah, I think that's the feel that we try to bring to it, is we try to make it fun. A libertarian version of one of those nighttime, late night TV shows, but actually funny and good, and not super liberal and gay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
What do you have against gay people, Phil?
Not gay as in like homosexual, gay as in lame. What it used to mean back in our youth.
But yeah, so there's the answer to that question.
We wanted to make it fun. We didn't want another stuffy show to where, the opening of the show was, in page 394 of Rothbard's Anatomy of the State. You see here, and he lays out this argument. We wanted to bring a little bit of fun and pizzazz, to the libertarian movement, help spread the message in, kind of a fun, more palatable way. At least in my opinion.
Well, I still haven't heard you guys refer to your listeners as children and childish and troublemakers and immature, so...
Ragtag wannabes.
You guys still have a long ways to go before you're a real podcast,
I do call them trolls, though, just because I'm really hoping they eventually become trolls, because that's all I want is more trolling.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
Yes.
That would be good. As any good parent, we hope to get the best out of our children, and that's, how we feel about our listeners. We just want the best out of them.
As opposed to when you say that I don't like war and I don't like cops, and the podcast host turns around and says, "You anarchist!" What? Yeah. Uh-huh. I don't like cops murdering people. I don't like the military murdering people. Yeah, I guess that makes me an anarchist.
Stop your anarchy over there.
Stop being childish. All right. Next question. Cam.
Yes.
Where would you like to see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years? Not in Georgia anymore, for one. I don't like it that much. I'm not joking. This is not where I wanted to be. Honestly, I'd love to be able to do something I give a crap about. Like, this podcast is, for all intents and purposes, just a labor of love. But I think that, eventually the goal would be either, a couple of different things. I'd love to be able to find a way to be in some form of ministry. But on top of that, I would love to be able to support myself by writing and presenting and, podcasting, as well as helping other people podcast, which is really what, we're trying to do with this network that we're working on. If we could find a way to monetize that, not just for us, but for other podcasts, that would be the coolest thing in the world.
Now, they've recorded a lot of those Marvel movies in Georgia.
Yes.
Now, I know the recent phase is done, but, they're going to be making more Black Panther movies and Captain Marvel movies. Are you going to miss not being around for those?
I do somewhat work with some of the people that do some of the costuming and set dressing and stuff like that. So, it's cool that I've been able to pick their brains. Like, with Endgame, probably about a year ago, I was talking to one of the set dressers, and I floated him some of my theories of what Endgame would be, and I was right, and I loved that, because it means they made smart decisions in that movie, except for some that I would change just slightly. But no, there are some things that I may miss, but honestly, the most that comes out of working near where those are made are that every now and then on screen I can look and see some freaking leather that I sold to a person who put it on the screen. Actually, I did help with the pants that I think 11 will be wearing in the 3rd season of Stranger Things. So, if you see any cool pants,
all right,
I put the buttons on those.
There's your legacy right there, man. I heard that you also, this isn't the first time you've, interacted with famous people or, famous things. Like you met Sean Astin in the past, didn't you?
I did. Do you want to hear my Sean Astin story?
Of course I do.
No.
I love Sean Astin. He is wonderful. I'll always love Rudy.
Oh, I hate Sean Astin. On a personal level, we have beef.
Wait, who would hate Sam? Why is Gamgee?
Cam
man?
would.
He's the
I
best.
hope you're prepared for this story.
I think it was 2015, 2016. Sean Astin was working on a movie in Birmingham where I was living at the time. It was called Mom's Night Out. It was a Christian movie.
I enjoyed that movie. That was a fun one.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you look hard enough, you might see me, but probably not. But I was called by the casting director because he was friends with a friend of mine that was a PA on the shoot. And they were like, hey, we'd like you to come in. We'd like you to be a featured extra. You have a motorcycle. You have a large beard. You'd be perfect in this scene that we're doing with a lot of motorcycles and that big country singer that was in that scene. I can't remember his name.
I forget too, but he was funny.
I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I can do that. And so I get my motorcycle and I ride up to the location and I stop in the parking lot and we're kind of waiting around till everything happens. And Sean Astin just walks right up to me. And I'm like, I'm starstruck. This is Samwise Gamgee. Like, if there was ever a freaking Lord of the Rings fan bigger than me, I don't want to meet that person. He comes up and he's really nice. And I'm like, oh man, this guy's so cool. He's down to earth. And he was like, hey, can I sit on your motorcycle? I said, okay. That's fine. He's like, can I ride it around? I've taken some lessons and I've got insurance and, there's not going to be any issue or anything like that. I'd love to this is a slightly, because it was a Sportster, so it was a slightly lower profile bike where his little tiny baby legs could touch the floor. And so I said, like in my heart I was going, no, but my brain was going, this is Samwise Gamgee. Of course I'm going to let him ride my bike for a second. Except it wasn't for a second. As soon as he got on the bike and started riding around, they were like, okay, it's time to get to the real set. Everyone get on their bikes and ride over. I was like, okay, I don't have my bike right now. What am I going to do? And he was off like scooting around on my bike and I was, freaked the hell out because, this is my first motorcycle. And I had just put some new brake and clutch levers on it and I was so proud of all the work that I'd done to make it look pretty. And they were like, go, you need to get there. You need to be in this scene. You're one of our featured extras, go. And I was like, I don't have my bike. And they were like, just jump on with someone. And so I had to ride bitch with some dude I didn't know. And usually when there's a little, on the back of a motorcycle seat, there's a little strap that you can hold on to so that you don't have to hug the other person. And I was holding onto this strap, like terrified because I'm like, this strap's not going to do anything if he turns the wrong way. I can't hold on. But we finally get to it and I sit there for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And they're just waiting on things to happen. I'm just standing there because my bike isn't over there. And then my friend who's the PA calls me and he brings me, I get in his car, he takes me over to my bike. And on the little drive to where my bike was, he goes, by the way, and I was like, don't start with that. He goes, by the way, you know how Sean was on your bike? And I was like, yes. And he goes, well, he dropped it. And I was like, the hell you mean he dropped it? Like, was it all out? What's going on? Is it, a little bit of freaking out? And he was like, no, it's nothing too bad. It should be fine. You can't ride off with it because Sean still has your keys and he wants to give them back to you. And I was like, okay, he dropped my bike. He messed it up a little bit. He wants to meet with me so he can give me my keys back and, throw me $100, $200 to fix whatever it is that he messed up, right? And so I get there and I walk up to Sean Astin and he hands me my keys and he goes, oh, hey, I have a question for you. And I was like, okay, here he's going to tell me what he did. And he goes, when you're riding on a motorcycle and you start slowing down, how do you get it to not fall over? And I was like, you put your feet down, Sean. You put your feet on the ground. That's the only thing you have to do is put your feet on the ground. And he was like, cool, it didn't happen or anything, but yeah, that's a good note. And he gives me my keys. He goes, you have a good day, and leaves.
Ah, that hurts.
He owes you money.
He does. Well, I don't have that bike anymore, but
it's the principle of the thing. He owes you.
I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, man, this is someone that I've watched for years since I was a kid and I've loved, and he's kind of an asshole and he has no integrity. Anyone, if either of you had done that to my bike, would you not have been like, hey man, I did this, let me, it wasn't anything big. There were scratches on the things I just put on there. I mean, it would have cost maybe $100 to replace. But instead, I found out he's kind of a weasel. So I don't like him, and it's now ruined movies for me that he's in, because I see him come on screen and I'm like, oh, I hate you.
Even Stranger Things season 2?
It was so hard to I don't like him on a personal level. It's so weird. I've never had that happen before, where a character is fun to watch, but I just do not like the character in the big show because I know I've met him and he was an ass to me. It's a really weird thing that I've never experienced before.
I thought he was great in that.
I'm sure he was. I still think he's a weasel.
All right.
If you're hearing this, Sean Astin, I can give you my Venmo, and you can make this right.
Well, moving on to Phil. Phil, you don't get as much time as Cam had just now.
Yeah, thank God.
He took his time with that.
It's a story.
Was it? Was it a story or was it a novel?
You ask for a story, I give you the story. I give you the color.
All right.
I thought he was the funny guy. Isn't there going to be like a punchline or something funny?
When's this show get funny?
Or is this like your brother's kind of funny, like that joke you said earlier? Another one of those? Let me tell you this great Sean Astin story. I can't stand him.
Okay, I'll cut it out. I'll just make it say, I met Sean Astin once. He's an ass, and that'll be the whole story that we get in the show. Sound good?
You literally could have just said he borrowed my motorcycle on set for a movie. He laid it down and he didn't pay for the damages. That's literally that's done.
But now
Story's
you have
done.
to keep it in there. No, your listeners need to hear this. They need to hear your attitude. They need to know who you really are as you take this entire episode to talk about freaking Sean Astin.
hey, if you don't want the answer, don't ask the question, man. So ask Phil something softball so we can get through this.
Well, I won't ask him what the strangest thing he's seen in the bathroom of his gym with the man drying himself.
Yeah, you don't want to go down there.
Yeah, I'm not.
You don't want to go down that road.
I'm not going anywhere near that. I'm just.
It only leads to pain.
Different. All right, Phil, where would you see yourself, or where would you like to see yourself in 10 years?
Well, ideally, celebrating my 10-year anniversary with Cam. That would be great. I'm kind of upset that he didn't say that in his answer, so we're going to have to talk about that off air.
Sounds gay.
Well, not if we're wearing socks.
That's a Marine thing, right?
Yes. Yes and no. Yes and no. I won't get into the details because it's going to get super gay.
Well, do Marines really do the thing where they like play with each other's junk to show how not gay they are?
I'm not actually sure what you're referring to, so I don't think that's a thing. I never fondled anybody or was fondled.
Well, it's like that game, because I know they do it in youth groups. You know, like the fire truck game.
Oh yeah, we do.
The state
we do
game.
The fire truck game, yeah. That's how you mess with the new guys. Or like if you've ever seen the movie Waiting, where they what's that game they played in Waiting, where they would show each other, you know, they'd give each other the brain or whatever, and they'd have to kick them for being a meat gazer. That was a big one. You just all of a sudden you go into someone's room and they're just standing there with their junk in their hand, like, frickin' meat gazer.
Okay. Where would you like to see yourself in 10 years?
Yeah, that got sidetracked. All right, back to the question at hand. In 10 years, I'd like to see, you know, ideally doing this on a larger scale. You know, we've been doing this for a short period of time, but I've really enjoyed it. You know, some of the behind the scenes stuff that, you know, I get to see Cam do and help out with. I'm a big fan. Just having a lot of fun being here, doing what we're doing, and like I said, ideally 10 years down the road, just keep on doing it, but at a, you know, much larger scale. That's what I would like to do.
Excellent. I keep thinking I should ask about the Marines, but you probably noticed by now I know nothing. So I'm not going anywhere near that direction.
Hey, that's okay. This is how we bridge gaps. You ask me whatever you want to, good friend. We'll bridge the gap. Let the healing process begin.
All right, guys, final question for both of you guys. You can answer in any order. Okay? Right or left hand?
I'm left-handed.
I found euphemism in that question. Right.
Yeah,
hand.
I was just going to skip that, but that's okay.
What euphemism?
You know,
I don't want to talk about my alone time.
Little, you know.
I'm right-handed. What are you? Seriously, what the heck? Okay. Well, this has been a great interview.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was a masturbation question.
That's what I thought.
I thought that's where you were going with it.
It totally was.
Okay.
See? Knew it. Called it.
Any other questions I should ask you guys?
So many.
No, I think that we should devolve into conversation. Don't you? Or evolve.
About what?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to know that you haven't actually asked?
What do I want to know?
Yeah, now you'll just switch it up to asking personal questions. Let's get weird.
Yeah, because we've not asked any weird questions so far.
We can get weirder.
Well, I mean, we could ask Liberty questions probably. Like, would people want to know how Phil decided not to be a Marine anymore, or why his last name is Padilla and he's a white ginger?
Wait, his last name's not Padilla? In my head, I've always pronounced it Padilla.
Nope. Super Mexican.
I did too until we did an episode with him in the first podcast called Cocoa Jams or something like that.
Oh,
and I called him Padilla, and he goes, "It's Padilla," and I was like, "Crap, you're just so white. I didn't expect Mexican."
Yeah, like tortilla.
It's a tragic story.
Phil Tortilla. All right.
Tortilla Padilla.
Get that in my
Padilla.
brain.
Tortilla Padilla.
Phil, why are you not a Marine anymore?
Well, short answer is it's too many rules and too many stupid people. Long answer is I just joined to, get the hell out of Dodge. I was 18. I was restless. I wanted to, get out of my house, put some distance there, see the world. That's why my first duty station I chose was Japan. I was like, can't get much farther away than Japan.
An anime, obviously.
And, every young teenage boy has an Asian girl fetish.
Of course.
At least the cool ones do, but don't shake your head, Cam. You know you did. Liar.
The very short Asians.
Don't lie on air. Do not lie on air to our fans.
It's okay.
But yeah, I just...
Is it bad that I just liked white girls? Is that something I can say, or do I need to cut that out?
Yeah, you can't like anything white. Leave it out. Don't. It's just...
Have you ever seen Filipino girls in person?
Yeah, I've been to the Philippines.
I mean, they're a notch
Filipino
above
girls.
Japanese.
I've been to the Philippines several times.
Yeah.
Did you see any Filipino man boys? Man girls? Girl men? She-males?
Not in the Philippines, but in Thailand, I saw them everywhere. And actually the group I was with, because you had to go out in groups of 4 or more, we got chased by, literally a mob of them chased us down a street. Like, it was like something out of a movie. We were playing Frogger in this, in traffic in Thailand, trying not to get hit by trucks until we found a little taxi truck where you just hop on the back of a truck and say, "Hey, I'll give you money, take me somewhere." That's pretty much how the taxi system worked. And that's how we escaped being pummeled by about...
Why were they chasing you?
Well, we were walking down this alley, not like an alley, but where these, this little street where there's bars on both sides of the street. And the I think they're called katoys, which is like ladyboy or something. They were standing, they were standing out front, and they were going, "Oh, sexy man, you want good time, And one of them pulled down their shirt and exposed their fake boobs. And one of our friends in our group, who was super drunk, goes, "Look at those things! Look at them!" And so we had to like, and he starts drifting that way. So we had to grab him and say, "Hey man, it's a dude. We got to go get back to the ship before curfew's over and we get in trouble. We got to go." And he goes, "It's a dude?" And we were like, "Yeah, just let it go. Let's go. Let's get out of here." And he just turns around and he goes, "F you, dude." And he flips them the birds. And then they start throwing shoes at us, and he threw the shoes back. And then that's when they started chasing us. As soon as he picked up their little shoe and started tossing them back at him, that's when they just all left the bar area and they just started chasing us. And we literally just ran for our lives because it was It was so scary. Like being chased by probably a dozen she-males who are angry with shoes as a weapon just coming after you. Like there's nothing probably more terrifying other than maybe being chased by like a lion or something. But that was certainly an experience.
Definitely doesn't mirror any of my own.
Yeah, I've nothing like that.
No. That's what you call being cultured.
So Phil,
Yes.
did you start listening to Ron Paul in the military or what? How'd you get here?
Actually, a little bit. A friend of mine that was on my in my platoon on my shift that I worked when I was stationed in Yuma when I got back, stateside. He was really into Ron Paul, and he would talk to me about things because he kind of picked up that like I didn't like all these rules. I didn't like people telling me what to do. So he started, talking to me about Ron Paul. But the transformation really kind of happened when, I got out and I started reading books, because I was, super, hardcore neocon when I was a teenager and when I was growing up. And so when I got out, I started reading, stuff by like who I considered to be like actual conservative people. So I read this book called Conscience of a Conservative by Barry Goldwater. Where it was kind of like his own little manifesto that he wrote, which was pretty good. I mean, from like an old school conservative standpoint, opposing things on a constitutional ground rather than the labels that he got thrown at him, because he opposed, I believe, the Civil Rights Act just on the merit of that it was unconstitutional, and of course he was called things like a racist and all the other buzzwords that get thrown at people nowadays.
Right.
And then that transitioned into, getting more into Ron Paul. And then I was like, oh, he's got a kid? Wow. I mean, this kid's got a book. Okay. So I read a book called Government Bullies by Rand Paul. And I was like, this is shit that the government actually does and, like, gets away with. Like, they just... Like, it was about the EPA and the TSA and how the TSA, like, they've never caught any terrorists, but there's been, like, 500 employees arrested for theft. There's all these drug rings and burglary rings. And I just, started getting me thinking about, like, well, maybe government, like, kind of sucks, and it just kind of, on a more personal basis, later on, because that was right after I got out of the military, and then later on, a friend of mine died in Afghanistan, and that really had, the questions going, like, what is the point of all this? Is it worth it? Like, what was he over there doing? What did he, what was he fighting for? What did, all the things that we're told that we're gaining all these things because of, people like him and what they do, what are we actually doing? His family is, forever shattered. And, that's the hard questions that you ask. Like, what is it for? Why are we doing this? Why was he there in the first place? Why are we still there? What are we even doing over there? What is one positive that we can list about anything? And, asking myself those questions, I couldn't come up with any answers. So I just started, getting more and more, I guess, out of that, right-wing neocon frame of mind. And, I stumbled upon, some liberty groups on Facebook and, started talking about things like that. And luckily, I have quite a few friends who are of, similar persuasion, big Ron Paul fans, things like that I could bounce ideas off of and talk to. And they would kind of, catch me up to speed on things about how much the government sucked and what they really thought and, where you should go from here if you're really interested in learning more. And then, that kind of just, that led me to finding, you guys in the group of, He Who Should Not Be Named. And then, all that happened. And then we've been, doing our own group now here for a few years. And, I've got to soak up a lot of wisdom from, some of the more senior folks. And it's been great. It's been really eye-opening. So it's been a pretty crazy 180 over the last few years.
Trying to figure out a way to work in a boilerplate joke. But, yeah.
Of your personal relationships in these groups, who would you say was probably the best voice that led you in that direction or answered your questions or helped you grow?
Like in our group?
Yeah, in our group. I mean, besides Ron Paul and the big names, like what's a small name?
Well, I mean, Tom Woods. His podcast, blew my mind when I started listening to it, and I was like, how does this guy know so much stuff about so many topics. Like, how do you, like, you know, again, he's a relatively young guy. It's like, how do you know so much at like that age? Whereas like, I feel like I know nothing sometimes, you know, relative, you know, compared to my age to some of these other people who it's like, seems like it's their life goal is to, you know, master the topic of libertarianism and all that stuff. But I'd say probably the biggest voices in our small little group of ragtag wannabes, probably yours, because I always read what you have to say. No homo. Ryan for sure, because Ryan has a lot of too long didn't read posts, but like they're worth reading because they're like they're so packed full of just information, and he
Must be something good in there.
yeah, there's so much information that he just packs into these Facebook posts that you learn so much by just reading them, and he explains it in a way that doesn't it's not a snooze fest. You know what I mean? He's long-winded without being long-winded in a lot of ways. So it's really nice being able to get and, you know, extract information like out of those posts. But
See, now we have Bob Murphy in our group, though.
Yeah.
We have freaking Bob Murphy in our group, and you just said that Cam and I are the ones in the group who you learned the most from.
He doesn't
man.
post that often.
That feels great.
He doesn't post
in
that
Phil's
often.
In Phil's mind, Cam and Ryan are above, you know, Bob Murphy. Below Tom Woods, but above Bob Murphy.
Anytime he interacts in the group, I'm all over it. But he doesn't interact that often.
We all are.
Yeah.
It's Bob
Yeah,
Murphy.
we all kind of fangirl.
Or Eric July. Eric July commented because Maddie said something.
Yeah,
It's always if Maddie says something.
She always gets the cool people. She gets everybody to come out of the woodwork onto her posts, and it's awesome. But yeah, as far as other people, I think definitely not anybody named Shane. That's for sure.
Of course not.
That's just a rule. Yeah, I'd have to, as far as anybody else goes who I pay 100% attention to, I'd have to really kind of think about that for a minute. Because I do play favorites.
I've got a question for Ryan.
Turn the tables.
No, this is a get to know you guys.
No, I know, but it's kind of about me. Because I'm good about making things about me. I feel like you're one of the only people I've ever known that whenever I make a serious post or talk about something important, you're like, yes, you're doing it again. Because I think you're the only person who's ever noticed that I get stressed out or I get, you know, tired of stuff. I go straight into like, I'm just going to screw around and troll. And every now and then I'll throw my thoughts on something. When do you think I finally gave up?
When do I think you gave up?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a while back. That had to have been 2017. Sometime in 2017. And it was after we had our own group. So that was, you know, that was the end of October in 2016 when we created the group. And then before then you'd been a little more serious. Cam, you know, admin in the other group, deleting my posts, like that one really great thread that we had where we went back and forth about anarchy with Remzo. And then you deleted it all, so I didn't have any of that, even though I was going to write a blog post about it.
Wasn't it about spanking?
Was that the one?
I think it was about spanking because there were like two
Ryan
going on at the
spanking.
same time.
Oh, you're right. No, that was... Yeah, Remzo deleted that one. That guy was something else.
But there were two going on at the same time.
One. No, there's like 5. But yeah, and you deleted the one that I was talking in.
Well, and it wasn't my choice. It was just like I was told to delete one of them.
Oh, you're one of those guys. I was just following orders.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll be honest. At that point, I was just like, I don't know, trying to do something.
Cam's just the guy that gets in line, takes his orders, and does what he asks, or what he's asked. Yeah, okay, we got it. That's when you were no fun. And then
It's a good thing that wasn't like a little Jew child back in the 40s or anything, you jerk.
Yeah, it's practically the same thing, really, when you think about it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Just doing my job. As he writes you a ticket for pulling you over for going 2 miles an hour over the speed limit. Sorry, it's my job.
And I know that Ryan and I had spoken somewhat before, but I got an immediate message like, "Why'd you delete that?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know. I was told to do that." I just chose the newest one or whatever.
Well, you and I didn't talk too much that time, mainly because I thought that you were one of those Reformed people, like a Reformed Calvinist person, because of the beard. So, and
that's the most hurtful thing you've ever said to me.
Yeah, well, and we were having a conversation. You said, "Hey, you should talk to this guy," and that guy was Reformed because of the conversation we were having, and. Yeah, so I friended him, and I was like, oh, here's one of his Reformed friends. I didn't think it was you saying, oh, since you're talking about this topic, you would be interested in talking to this. I thought it was like, oh, here's another one of my Reformed guys. You should talk to him about this, too. He'd enjoy it, too. So I kept you at arm's length, man. I didn't want to hear anything weird out of you.
No, man. I am like, and you know this now, but I'm like the absolute opposite of that. Like, I can't, I mean, maybe not quite as opposite as Greg Boyd, but pretty opposite.
At least you're opposite enough to, not say that, God does all the evil things in the world. That's the one
makes no
bizarre
sense.
Way of thinking.
Yes.
Then you created your own group, and then you stopped caring. Then you stopped posting anything serious. Just started, who knows what you do.
Trolling the masses.
I made it the most fun Liberty group you've ever been in, and you know it. That's true.
Oh, without doubt.
But no, I mean, like, there was a time that I was like, argue. And there comes a certain point in my mind where I realize I'm arguing with a brick wall, and I just don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, honestly, 9 out of 10 people are brick walls.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, and so I just kind of stopped. And I love a good troll. So
yeah, I mean, because
that's
you
where I
can't
went with
really
it.
have a conversation. I mean, if you're on like a Facebook post about like war or something, and you say, hey, when are we going to pull all the troops out? What are we doing there? This is, we've been there 16 years. It's cost X amount of dollars. So many people have died. Millions of civilians.
Okay, Phil, talk about something for real. Don't just be throwing out this libertarian boilerplate, man.
Oh,
come on.
Sorry.
War is good. We should destroy Venezuela.
Orange man, good.
See, that's not boilerplate. That's some well thought out, good libertarian, pragmatic, practical logic.
For sure.
Right.
Isn't that what we're supposed? Isn't that the way it goes?
You got to choose sides. We're at war with the Islamists and the and the commies. We gotta fight them, not just Netflix and chill. Because that's what we're doing. Sitting there on our couch having all kinds of sex with each other. We got to be out there fighting Islam.
There we go. That's a well thought out answer. Good, Phil.
Thank you.
I didn't want you to accidentally fall into the libertarian boilerplate.
Yeah, we don't want to get into that stuff.
But I mean, like, I don't argue so much anymore. But like, if you get me on my, I have pressure points. That I'll go into, and one of those, as Phil knows and likes to mention, is North Korea is a strange pressure point for me. And so if someone starts talking about North Korea, I'm there. I don't know what else hits me, because I know you guys probably talk to me more than anyone.
I know there's at least one thing, Cameron, that hits you pretty hard.
I hate that so much.
Well, that's one of them. Being called Cameron is one of them. If you want to troll Cam, call him Cameron.
Don't do it.
He gets serious real quick.
He's going to go from 0 to 60 in about 1.2 seconds.
Well, that's a problem. He gets so serious that it's not fun. It's come on.
Is that the thing you were talking about?
What?
Being called Cameron?
Well, yeah, I wasn't going to call you Cameron. You were supposed to give the response. You totally ruined it. It's okay.
Which response am I giving?
I don't know, a different one.
Okay, let me try again.
Like the funny response,
I don't have one.
You said you're the funny guy. Come on, give us a funny one.
No, I'm the funny brother, but that's not a high bar, apparently.
Yeah, funny man. Tell us a joke. Make us laugh, clown.
Tell us a dick joke, Phil.
Here we go.
Like a penis dick?
No, a private detective.
Ooh, okay. Well, I've got a lot, actually. I don't think I have any dick jokes.
Like a penis. What?
Well, I was trying to make a joke, like a dick, like a penis, or like, are you talking about like a jerk? Like, what kind of dick we talking about? All right, maybe neither of us are the funny man.
All right.
It's definitely Ryan. He deserves to be here.
He does.
I do.
I don't think I have any dick jokes. I can't think of any off the top of my head, actually. Let me Google
Well, I
one.
mean, I don't know if are there a lot of dick jokes out there? Don't Google dick jokes, Phil.
Probably. Oh, I already did. Guess what? I'm gonna hit you with a couple. Ooh. Oh, okay. You ready? Are you ready?
Wait, are we talking about penis dick?
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
We moved back to that.
So, and this is fun for all ages. This is not inappropriate. So, what does a Rubik's Cube and a penis have in common? The longer you play with them, the harder they get. No? Okay. Next one. All right, hold on. There's more. Why does a penis have a hole in the end?
That's not a joke.
No. Oh, it is. Guess what? Here's the answer. So men can be open-minded.
It's a feminist joke, man. What the heck?
What website am I on? Oh, this is Smash
Is there like some Huffington Post columnist laughing right now?
I'm on smashthepatriarchy.org/penis jokes. Sorry. Hold on. Let me go to a different website.
BuzzFeed top 10 penis jokes.
This one's super bad. This is the worst joke that I've ever heard, and somehow on this website it got 37 likes. What is that insensitive bit at the base of the penis called? And the answer is the man.
When you said a bad joke, I thought you meant like
so stupid.
Demented, because I heard a demented joke the other day, but I don't think it's safe for recording ever.
Well, thanks for letting us know that.
One more, and then I'll be done. What did the elephant say to the naked man?
Why don't you respect women?
Your trunk is small.
Well, hold on. That's close. How do you breathe through that thing?
That's funny.
I found one good one. I was on a mission to find one good one, and I did it. So that's all for me, folks. It's been great. See you later.
Here's a dick joke for Ryan.
What? For me? Was that my request?
What was the first thing that Adam said to Eve? Whoa. Back up, honey. I don't know how big this thing gets.
Did your brother tell that joke?
Oh, my God.
If my brother listens to this...
We love you.
There's about a 0% chance of that happening.
You're funny, Cam. We know it. I mean,
You guys are a funny family.
You're really funny.
It's obviously in your genes. It's just...
Yeah.
You
Hilarious.
ooze humor.
In my genes.
In your genes. That's another dick joke. Think about it. Put it together.
It's a talk about penises. Even though you guys insist that you don't roll that way.
It's 2019. We can do whatever we want.
There we go. That's it. Thank you guys for letting me host this Get to Know You episode. And to your listeners, when you get tired of listening to these weirdos, be sure and check out my own show, Technoagorist. You can find the blog and the show at technoagorist.com, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and everywhere.
Opportunism.
Yeah, there we
Shameless plug.
go.